Good morning to you all, and thank you for being back for SUS Talks number 11. Today we have Gokul Srinivas, founder of Minion Labs, a very, very interesting energy efficiency / energy management company out of Bangalore. Gokul is in SUS Mafia as I think one of the youngest mafiosos. We're very, very excited to hear his vision for the future, his work today, what he would do with 100 million if Jeff Bezos gave him 100 million. And we're going to learn from him how to make sustainability a default choice. We'll run that for about 30 minutes and then we'll follow his session up with a Q&A. Over to you, Gokul.
Thank you, Anirudh, for this introduction and this opportunity. And about Minion Labs. Minion Labs works in energy efficiency. And what we have done so far is 5 million kilowatt of hours has been saved. And that is equivalency to 3,712 metric tons of carbon is reduced. And you don't believe I couldn't able to count the numbers. That much smartphones can be charged with that amount of energy that we reduced. And almost like 157K trash bags of waste can be recycled instead of landfilled, or 141K of incandescent lamps switched to LED. So this happened today. And whom did it happen? That is, let's take this Fortis Hospital. They had saved 18 lakhs from their annual electricity cost.
On a conference,
and 1.5 crore of their electricity bill, where it got reduced to 1.32 in a year. And 18 lakhs is the gross savings. That is about 200K kilowatt of hours of electricity is saved, which is equivalent to 161 metric tons of CO2 saved. And similarly, we have other people who are using Minion and who saved is Society Generale, Saudi Aramco, Schneider Electric, ABB, 5 airports in Dubai, and 250 plus enterprises. So how does it actually works? It's not a magic. It's based on the data which we collect through a device called Minion. So this Minion is, we call it as the world's smallest energy auditor because the size of the Minion is just the smallest than your palm size actually. And it has 2 variations, single phase and 3 phase as usual, and 2 models, which is Wi-Fi and 3G, 4G. And this Minion will be installed like an add-on to the existing, the MCB panel or else the busbar panel like this. And so far in our journey, we had installed 5,149 Minions, and each of them generating 4 million data sets per second. That is roughly 40 lakhs of data per second into 5,149 Minions. Imagine the data which we are collecting. And so far we had generated 829 TB of data. And why are we collecting this much data and why is, I'll tell you in the next slide. And this will be installed like a kind of a plug and play device. Within 3 minutes, a person can able to install this device. So there wouldn't need of a electrician to install it. A 10th standard graduate can able to install this, that much plug and play. Upon installing this device, it starts capturing the data immediately and sends it to a cloud through certain DLT technologies of communication. And that throws into the cloud, and in cloud we do all the computing in the database. And what are we doing in the database? Is we start with the descriptive analytics. As the name says, it's a description, the description of data of present and past data. Like for example, last month versus this month's comparison, or last day versus this day, or last hour versus this hour, and what is its price correlations, etc. And this is very generic smart meter features. And what are we doing unique here is kind of a slab rate monitoring. If you, in India, if you take any state's electricity bill, you see a slab rates. For example, roughly if I take 0 to 100 units, there could be like 3 rupees, some around per unit would be charged. And for 101 to 200 units, it could be like 4.76, that is like a 30% increase. And then from 201 to 300 units, there could be 5.2 or 5.5 something, another 30% increase. And there are many cases like they end up consuming 201 unit or 205 unit. Because of that 1 unit, 5 unit extra, they end up paying 30% extra. So what if there is an alert at the mid of the billing cycle telling, hey, I have seen your consumption pattern, and at the end of the month you want to leave, you're going to consume extra 5 units, that's going to charge you like a 30% extra. So do some behavior change right away so that you can save that 5 units, and that can able to get you immediate 30%. So this is one such we are helping people to do that at the first level itself. And second thing is the climate risk, where with the units of electricity, like I said, the equivalencies, we can able to convert it to heat, we can able to convert it to carbon, and the number of trees actually required. And we benchmark this against India's or the global heat and deforestation rate and carbon footprint, and see what is your building is contributing to that percentage. And if it is a normal, fine. If it is high, why it is high, and what you can do to bring that high climate risk ranking down. And it's not just Minion. Here we work with a consortium of other sustainable solution. For example, roof flooring. And we connect with our partner that this building is a potential climate risk. They have a lot of heat, and that end up like running their HVAC cost high. So what if we do a roof flooring there, and so that we can reduce some heat inside the building. So likewise, we work with like a couple of other sustainable solutions to reduce this climate risk. And the second thing is the energy signature detection. So we are installing this device at the main panel. We are not even stepping inside the building. So just at the outside or somewhere at the MCB panel we install, and we can able to detect each and every appliances. This is nothing new. It's a research started at 1980 actually. And many people who started working into this, and many left and many are continuing. And what we did in this research is, at present, we have 3,000 of energy signatures, different appliances in our database. So before going into this energy signature, you should know what is energy signature. Let's assume that I'm installing a Minion at your home. After installing this Minion at your home, I'm asking you to turn on a washing machine. So how does a washing machine works? Number one, it fills water. Number two, step by step. Third and fourth will be very fast. That is rinse and then dry. If you convert this energy signature, that is a working activation, you get some kind of a signal, like while filling water, there is no motor activity, hence a straight line. And then by step soaking, you get a ripples, both positive and negative cycles. And then while running fast, you get a even more faster ripples. That exactly looks like this. So this washing machine, the energy signature which is generated is very unique to that washing machine. Likewise, every appliance in the earth has its own unique energy signatures, which are time varied, because you're not keeping all these devices at one corner. So in a house residential setup, the TV would be in the common room, the air conditioner would be in the bedroom, and there would be a geyser in the bathroom, or there could be a mixie in the kitchen. So all are physically apart, and the energy signature derived or generated from that equipments will go back to the MCB, and it takes a delay there. And second delay is the turning on and off. We humans generally turn on and off in a seconds. And you could have noticed that like you turn on one switch, there could be 40 different lights or devices that turns on. That happens in a millisecond. So it's a generic thing where in order to track millisecond, you need a microsecond data. So that is the reason on the first thing, we are generating 4 millions of data per second from those devices to track these activities. And once these data are being captured, it comes to a cloud. And what we are doing in a cloud is nothing kind of a matchmaking or a kind of a classifier, where we have a database of so-and-so energy signatures already trained. Like washing machine means this is how it looks. Air conditioner means this is how it looks. So likewise, we have more than 3,000 of instances of energy signatures. If you tell me hotel, we have boilers, chillers, elevators. If you tell me hospital, we have CT scanners, and MRI scanners, X-ray emissions energy signature. If you tell a restaurant, we have finger fry emissions energy signature. Likewise, we had profiled it well, and when this real-time data comes to our cloud, it gets matched and let the user know that you have turned on this appliance at this time and what is its energy consumption. And then what do we do after detecting this appliance level data is diagnostic analytics. As the name says, it's a diagnostic of that appliance. And here we're gonna do a 3D benchmarking. The first dimension of benchmarking is like nothing but the present consumption with the previous consumption of that particular appliance to get to know what is the trend, energy consumption of that particular appliance. And second benchmarking is with the technical data sheet. So when you're buying a kind of an air conditioner, if it is a 5-star air conditioner, and it comes with a technical data sheet, what it should consume. And we're gonna benchmark with that technical data sheet with the real-time consumption. And we're gonna correlate with the previous consumption trends also. And we'll see how much that your air conditioner is degrading, because almost all the appliances which consumes electricity will degrade over a period of time. Like instance, 5-star AC, after a year, it becomes a 3-star, and then it becomes a 2-star or 1-star. So we see the degradation rate with this. And the third benchmarking is, which is very unique, that is the energy signature benchmarking itself, where we already have a predefined energy signature. And with the current air conditioner's energy signature, and we're going to benchmark both of them and see if even if there is any component is degrading in your particular air conditioner, or if there is a component is failed. So we can get to know based on the waveforms. The waveform doesn't hit that particular decibel, which is mentioned or predefined in the energy signature. So through that, we can get to know what is the root cause problem in that air conditioner and just effectively service or replace that particular component without making it much bigger. And the third thing is the predictive. So all these benchmarkings and the energy consumption, we're gonna predict it and see if your washing machine or air conditioner is consuming like this and it has a certain problem, and how it will look like in the future, and how does it impact your electricity bill, and what you can do and when you can act so that you can save your electricity cost, or else you're gonna lose this much amount. All these are all predictive. And then third is the next is the artificial intelligence. Though the name is very catchy, I always believe it's only the data and the decision. So the data and the decision is, so far in our journey, we had solved n number of appliances problem, like hotels, boilers, and chillers, and so energy, all these appliances problem. And these problems we actually solved with a lot of mentorships and advisory from other energy auditors, and because we are a bunch of, we started this like very 2016 as a research project. So, and all these problems which we had solved so far, we had well documented it, and it is a separate database of energy efficiency database. For example, if you take your washing machine, that washing machine has a problem. Each problem can be solved in a different approaches. The deadliest approach is completely replacing that. But before replacing that, if it could be some filter change, or it could be some a value change. For example, there is an escalator, and that escalator, the speed can be changed. That could be able to save some potential savings. So likewise, there could be a different approaches to solve one single problem. And all these things are being documented well. Like in future, if we got some client who got the same problem as washing machine, and this artificial intelligence as a pointer, it goes and refers to that particular washing machine. Hey, for this problem, this is the solutions available. And these are all the different solutions. In order to perform these solution, option A, option B, option C, option D, these are all the cost for each and every solution to perform. And if you invest this amount for the option A, what would be the return on investment? So this data will be sent as a message. And the next one is kind of a prescriptive analytics. So that, as again the name says, it's a doctor's prescription. All these energy signature, this energy recommendations or the action points has been sent to the user via multiple medias, and the users will be performing those actions. And not only that, as I said, the climate risk, where all other kinds of activity. It's just not limited to all these appliances thing and all other generic energy guzzling activities, etc. We also suggest the users what the user can able to do in order to reduce their electricity cost or reduce the heat of the building, etc. And at end of the day, all they need is just the notifications, and which perfectly looks like this. So the facility maintenance or the people who sits there, they don't have to sit and imagine what are these colorful graphs and energy jargons are. So if they get this kind of an actionable insight or the notification, and they can simply forward it to the engineer and get it done. And this would be at very real time. And before, we had partnered with WhatsApp, where WhatsApp has given a check, though the money is great, but the partnership is actually the potential, where right now all these energy signatures we are sending it, sorry, energy recommendations, we are sending it through WhatsApp. And WhatsApp has been penetrated even in rural place. And that is the scale where we are looking into reducing the climate risk of these buildings at even at the rural place. And our business model, who and how can a person buy this, is we have two flexible models. A user can able to buy or like rent a device for 24 months as smaller, like as low as 2,500 rupees per month, or they can also buy the device at a one long time for the long time customers at 30K per device. And why do we have two different models? A flexible policy is like over a year again, we had tested and did a lot of, tried a lot of business models. First, I started with a one-time selling with annual subscription, where the asset sale was like, you know, taking a lot of like, the sales cycle was high. And second, we tried to do a month-on-month subscription, no asset sale. But in India, not only in India, if you see month on month, if you're in 100% of energy consumption, I can maximum pull you down like 25%, 30%, that is approx like 85, 70%. And I cannot directly bring you down to zero, which is like no power. And that 25% or 20%, that will happen over a year or year and a half. And until that, the person pays because they are seeing month on month savings, and later the line gets staggered. It's a straight line. That is like, they don't understand that they are sustaining the savings, but since there is no last month, there is no savings, before the month there is no savings, they end up using Minion. And then that is not a good business model. And then we changed. And then we tried to do energy savings, kind of a commission model. We don't want month-on-month savings. We don't want the asset sale. We just thought like, let's whatever the savings we make, we can get a 30% cut from that. For example, assuming Fortis case, where they had said 18 lakhs, and we can, if we take a 30%, that is good for the company. But in India, again, disclosing the savings is again the honesty problem. So they will be good until like getting the savings, and then like to recover the commission, we had to go walk a lot of time. And then after a rigorous research along with the Cambridge University, and after 6 months, we had come up, it's a mixed model where the people who are looking for energy efficiency, they can rent the device for 12, 18, 24 months. And after saving that their energy, they can return back the device, or they can have the device with an AMC. Or else there are few clients who are not into energy efficiency, who are like totally into some other operations. For example, Orient Mall in Bangalore, they are not using Minion for energy efficiency. They are using Minion for energy transparency and energy tariffing. For example, in Orient Mall, in the ground floor alone, there is 120 shops. And in order to tariff those 120 shops, Puma, Reeboks, all these kind of shops, they need to invest on the infrastructure, that is energy meters for each and every shop. But right now, if you look at the investment cost for that energy meters, if you take a roughly around 10K, and that is into like 120 shops, that's the direct investment. But right now, just 12 minions, that is actually tariffing each and every shop at appliance level at real time. Like Puma showroom has turned on these lights at morning, and these lights at evening. and what is this energy consumption. The Puma showroom can able to see that energy consumption and the billing at live. So there's an energy transparency and energy tariffing. And Orient Mall is my lifelong client, and where they don't have to pay lifelong. They just need to buy it at one time and they can have an AMC. And in both of these models, the users will get the energy recommendations, but end of the day, their engineers, their electricians has to perform those recommendations or the action points. And anytime a short-term user can able to convert to a long-term users after like X percentage of Minion price is calculated. Or if they want Minion Labs to come and perform those action points or recommendations, we do have a priority model, which is a platinum class premium Minion service. In that, we guarantee 10% minimum annual savings for the client, and where our engineer will be like dedicated working for the particular client and helping them to reduce their electricity cost on based on all the recommendations being derived from our Minion, the platform. And we provide the lifetime device protect and other perks as well. And for this, they don't have to pay anything extra. After, there could be like in this flexible model, they could be like either they could be in a renting model or they could be a one-time buyer, and they can avail the service. And after they achieve the savings, they can only have to save a 20% of their savings extra. So that as a company, I don't lose the basic one and I also get extra. And for them also, it's a trust that we save and then we get the money, not we get the money and then we help them to save and do some things there. And in terms of strategic partnerships, where we are working with a couple of big brands, where ENY for India and Red Dot Power for Singapore, Energy Web Foundation, and we are trying a strategic partnership with Cisco, Cisco Kinetic for smart cities in Europe, and Tata Consultancy Services along with DEWA, Dubai Electric and Water Authority in UAE. And these are all for the kind of a smart grid or demand side management, where so far we had installed more than 3,500 Minions at every street corners in and around Europe with Energy Web Foundation and Red Dot Power in Singapore and ENY in Bangalore and near to Koramangala. And so here, the problem what we are solving in this is, you see a lot of buildings in this picture. Back in 2010 or back in 2005 or 2000, that time is when they had laid the electricity infrastructure for these buildings. And back in that time, we might not know, not even a single building may have air conditioner, or they might be having one air conditioner. And the electricity infrastructure is the same as of today in 2020. And these buildings' electricity consumption has increased. They double their air conditioners, tripled it. And at certain time or at certain level, the infrastructure, what it is there, it can hold, but after that it will lose its efficiency and the transformer is gonna blast. And then the utility has a higher replacement cost or maintenance cost. They come and they dig, and 2 days it's gonna no power. So what if there is a Minion there at every street corner that gives a holistic view of each and every street level demand, the consumption, and the next few months demand, so that the utility can well perform that. So that's what we are doing. Not only that, we have solar panels companies where we have tied up. One such solar panel is Prozil Infra Engineering Private Limited, where we are doing a net metering solution. So Minion is kind of a global and universal device where it can also able to do a net metering. And as everyone knows, like the energy generated from the rooftop solar panels, many complaints that most of it just goes back to the on-grid. So what if there is a system that can able to give insights and recommendations or notification to the user that most of it, when it's the highest, the generating time, the peak of the generation, and when the user can able to switch and consume most of the electricity being generated from the solar panels instead of using it from the utility. And we have automation solution providers. So here, to highlight where I'm positioning this product Minion is to reduce electricity cost as energy efficiency. There are multiple ways. Number one is the design aspect of the building. where you can keep the window, or while this happens at the time of building the actual facility or the building, and which can get the natural light, natural air, and able to reduce the HVACs and lightning cost. The second one is the solar panel, where you're completely getting an alternate source of energy to provide the needs for the for the building. And the third one is energy auditor, and where the energy auditor, it's an olden day professional who goes for each and every buildings of their clients and audit each and every power socket and appliance level data, and they go back and they spend like at least a month, and depends on the facility size also, and at worst case scenario it even goes for 6 months of data collection, and then looking at the data and analyzing it and giving back the report. And the fourth one you see is the common one, which are the sensors, where if you leave the room, all these lights are being turned off automatically. So the Minion, which is what we have, it can be a brain for these automation sensors here, where we can integrate it, and all those actionable points where a manually a person supposed to do, that we can automate. But this is still in R&D stage with this company, and if we could able to succeed, then I can able to partner with all the automation solution providers. That becomes another channel. And the real estate, like Lodha Builders and Brigade, where at the time of construction we put Minion. Like one such example is in Mumbai, is the Pallava city, where we had installed the Minions for each and every flat while at the time of building, and then we sold it at a smart flat. And energy auditors, since energy auditors are like, what we are doing is collecting the data, analyzing and giving an actionable report, we are not competing energy auditors, and in fact we are enabling them. There are a bunch of energy auditors who uses Minion as an energy auditing tool, and as I said, they go and they invest time on the facility, they measure each and every appliances. Instead, these bunch of energy auditors, they just install the Minion and they go back to their home, and after a month they just collect the report from us, and they add extra few points and they go and present it to the client. So now energy auditors became digital. And then facility maintenance, like JLL, where JLL is one such potential client who helped us in getting into Accenture, Ascendas buildings, etc. And CBRE, whom we interacted with the Cisco systems. And sustainable solutions. As I mentioned on the climate risk, it's not just Minion energy management, which can able to recommend on the appliances or the energy guzzling activities or energy transparency problems. It is a consortium of all the other solutions which can able to reduce the potential climate risk of a building. So we are looking for other partners who can able to partner with. And my perfect 2030 would look like, at a 20% year-on-year growth projection rate, what the Minions we have so far installed and how much it got savings, and we just projected it. And with the same average, we can able to save a 32 billion kilowatt of electricity. And this happens at 2030. And for the equivalency results, like 27 million metric tons of CO2, we will be saving it. And that can able to potentially power 38,515 homes electricity for the entire year. And 29 billion numbers of smartphones can be charged from this, the savings what we are looking at. And other equivalencies are like 9.6 million trash bags can be recycled instead of landfill, or 8.6 million incandescent lamps can be switched to LED, and the 3.7 million trees seedling growth for the next 10 years. And if Jeff Bezos gave me 100 million to make the world more sustainable, what I would do is, I just fast forward the cycle. That 2030's goal, which I told you would be done in a year. And at actual 2030, I'll be installing 25 million Minions, and that could able to give me a 350 billion kilowatt hours of electricity saving. So this is Minion Labs, and I'm open for questions.
Wow, Gokul, that was fantastic. The number of your 2030 number of carbon emissions saved, 23 million tons of carbon. That was really something very exciting. Sure. I would like to open up the floor to everybody on our call for questions. As usual, if you can drop your question in the chat box, and then I can call it out so that I have an order. And also, if you can all rename your Zoom names with your name hyphen your organization. It'll be great because there are a few names on our call today who I don't recognize. Most people are in the mafia, but some are not. So I'd request everybody to put your name hyphen organization and then drop your question in the chat box and I'll call out in order. Okay, Manju, you want to start?
Yeah, can you hear me, everybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, Manjula.
Hi, Gokul. I had interviewed long time back the ICT convention, and
I know, Manjula.
it's great that I could, really learn a lot of things about Minions. The one thing which I want to do, I see you tying up with a lot of companies like solar companies and future automation companies. But what about the electricity boards? The EBs play a major role in connecting, the electricity to all the houses, commercial buildings, and all, like Bescom here or Delhi with the Shakti board in Delhi. So I ever try to speak to them for a tie-up so that will be easy for you also, for them also, no, to connect with the consumer?
Yes, Manjuna, that is true. And in fact, ENY is a partner of many utilities in India. So instead of like I directly establish a connection with Bescom, I'm selling Minions to ENY, and ENY is selling it to all these utilities. And where we have.
Why so you can't have a dialogue with the ABs? Is it difficult? What is it?
We can have it. In fact, we had a certain discussion with the Bangalore Electricity Board as well. But what the use case, what we are working is the demand side management. That is where the ENY is actually working onto that. So I thought ENY is the direct, the relevant party, where instead of going to Bescom, where Bescom is already has given that particular job to ENY. So yeah.
Thank you.
Jabir Karat of Greenworms Waste Management.
Yeah, hi Gogul. It's very interesting presentations. On the takeaway for me personally, I also started thinking about a lot of data as the waste generation, in terms of how I can utilize it. Something it's a personal takeaway for me. Regarding that, is there anywhere some local partners? So because I'm based out of Kerala, so there are a lot of small level entrepreneurs and various people comes to me, and even my own organization. We always, because I work with a lot of hotels and hospitals. So we have hospitals, like more than 30 plus hospitals, pretty big hospitals in the city. So we offer the services. So is there any way like a local organization can partner with you as an, maybe to identify the clients or to manage your local operations? Or is there any way like there is a revenue sharing model as well? That's what I want to check with you.
Yes, Jabir, thank you for this question. Absolutely, we are working in that. And in fact, my higher number of sales that happens through the channels, not as a direct. Because Minion Labs, I place it as a technology company, not a sales company. So we do have a certain number of the sales that we do direct, but the most of it, the parties whom I showed, the logos I showed, it's through the channels. And we are very much open to for the partnership.
Okay, David of 5M Mileage Boost.
Hi Gokul, great presentation. I joined in the last 2 minutes of your presentation. I heard you talk about Minions and you talk about reduction in carbon. Right. So my question to you is, how do you quantify carbon emissions reduction, number one? Number two, are carbon credits real? Are they being traded in the stock exchange? I'm David Eshkol from Hyderabad.
Hi, David. Thank you for this question. We come up with this equivalency rate based on the energy consumption we had saved. That is like last 3 years of electricity cost, and after installing Minion and how much it has been reduced without impacting the productivity of that particular business, or without turning off any appliances, so and so such, for example, in hospitals. And we get that equivalency results, but it's just a data, and we haven't gone further into the carbon sector. But what we are doing right now is we are collecting the data, and we are right now connected with the Maharashtra Pollution Control Board, where we are giving this data for them. For example, right now, if you look at this entire value proposition, what we are trying to do is we are building 3 databases. One database is the energy signature database. The more the energy signature, more I win. And second database is the appliances which I am solving. What kind of appliances and what are the available solutions database I'm creating. And the third database which I'm looking at is the carbon. And like for example, at street level, we are installing each and every minions along with these utilities, and also for every buildings where we are installing, and how much carbon it is, like it has been reduced or it has been produced, that database. Right now, I do not have any roadmap or any such things for the carbon, but I'm just storing the data. And one such right now I'm working with going to work with the Maharashtra Pollution Control Board, where we are going to sit with this data and we're gonna discuss what are we gonna do. But maybe if you think this data, what we are collecting is very valuable data, then we can also have a discussion and we can see what we can do.
David, there are carbon credits in India not traded on the stock market, but there is a voluntary carbon market and 2 platforms, the gold standard and there's one more. I've dropped a link to a great 3-hour video training if you want to access those voluntary carbon markets. I've dropped the link in the chat box.
Oh yeah, I've seen that, Anirudh. Thank you so much. I hope I will learn something from there. And for your information, I'm in the carbon reduction business. That's my mainstay.
Sure.
I'll drop in my introduction in the chat. I don't want to take much of your time on voice. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Okay, Sid.
Hey Gokul, this is actually great. I'm from Smart Joules, and I was wondering if we could use what you have to offer in terms of like a large commercial building, say a hospital or hotel, right? Where you go and install minions. How do these energy signatures actually work in reducing the consumption? If you go and install this on the main panel, right, that would be distributed to say 10 floors. Now you know that, okay, 50 lights have come on, but you don't know where they've come on. Or can you pinpoint exactly where they've come on? That's the first thing. The second thing is, even if some core machines have come on, like for example, in case of a hospital, an X-ray machine, an MRI machine, a chiller, pump, XYZ, these heavy consumers, and you can pinpoint that, okay, consumption is not as per pattern in the previous 1 month, 2 months. It can be multiple reasons for that, right? There can be weather changes, there can be that the cooling tower is not performing well, or 1,000 other instances because of which consumption is increased. So how are you able to guarantee that, okay, I'm going to reduce 10% of your consumption with all these variables out there?
Got it. Yeah. Hi, Sid. So this energy signature, actually, it doesn't save anything. It's just early detection. What is that appliance is and how much it is consuming, that's it. And after getting that energy signature, what are we gonna do? That is the diagnostic analytics and the predictive analytics and the artificial intelligence is the actual value proposition. And this energy signature is one thing where we avoid sensors deploying for each and every appliances individually. And that's it. And the more the energy signature, as I said, it's not just like one in the entire hospital and only one CT scan as energy signature we have, and we tell like it can able to detect CT scan energy signature. So back in 2015 to 16, we literally slept in the Fortis Hospital and where we did the R&D. And it's not just one energy signature. The energy signatures, it is clubbed together and where we are getting it at the MCB. And it's more of hours of data, and we increase the data rate and we channel the data rate so that the machine learning algorithms that can able to train. And it is a multiple appliances clubbed together, like CT scanner, X-ray machine, MRI scanner, all the machines turned on at once, how it would look like and how these classifiers actually work. If one by one it turns on, or multiple appliances, it like totally, it's more of a probability. It is not just that one energy signature, there are like dozens of machine learning algorithms that is running to track these energy signatures, classify between what are the probabilities to just get that appliance level data, that we avoid the sensors. This is at the first point. And second point is like there could be environmental impact to that particular appliance, but what we are most focusing into the appliance asset and why it has been impacted. And as I said, the second database, what the problems we solve and the number of solutions available, we are still growing on. And there could be error, but right now there are like a minimal error. And if we get error, and we had to solve that. And that solution, the solving is like the new solution which comes in or new problem that comes. Okay, so washing machine, there could be another problem as well. And what is the available solutions? It's more of a data training.
Okay, great. Like, I would love to see if we can somehow use this. It sounds pretty exciting. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, Sharath from Solarify. Sharath, your question is the same one I asked Gokul earlier in our own call as well about residential application. But please unmute and ask.
Yeah, thanks, Anirudh. Hi, Gokul.
Hi, Sharath. Long time.
Yes. In fact, I have asked you the same question, I think 2 years when we met in your office. Right. But has it changed now? Are you actually going to be looking at residential applications? Also, the reason why I'm asking is you said it's very easy to install it. You said it's 10 minutes to 15 minutes and anyone can do it. So is there a plan for it to be available in the market where anyone can just buy it and install and use it?
We are entering, Sharath, and actually this COVID-19 made us to enter. But we can have this initial pilots actually running on. And so why we didn't come to residential sector as previously is on the energy savings and the business model. So my majority of the clients and the revenue for the company is coming from the savings actually. And the commissions, 20% of the commissions, not on the month-on-month subscription. But if in a typical residential, the consumption is like little and the savings what we get is the very little. And the amount of resource we are putting, my cloud cost itself will not able to compensate the revenue what we get. So right now we had degraded version and we are doing some pilots. If that pilots is going good, then we will be launching a residential energy monitor. But yes, of course, we are open.
Okay, thanks a lot. Then I'll get in touch with you.
Sure, Sharath.
Right.
Jay, Sumdi, I saw your hand up. If you still have that question.
Yeah, so I think, this is obviously a very theoretical question. And this is something that we had been discussing it almost more than a decade ago, where you can get the signatures of every appliance. Now, the question is more completely orthogonal. That is, as you get into the residential market, the question becomes how secure is the data? Because suddenly certain people will know what devices I have at home and then can infer how much money I have or how much I'm worth based on the kinds of devices I have. So it becomes a security issue. And the question is how private is that information so that people don't know what I have at home, because then it will reveal a lot about me, which I do not want to reveal to other people.
Absolutely, Jay. So the security on the concern from the company, we are trying to do the maximum. In fact, my designation in Amazon, my early career was a security expert. I worked into Kindle devices. So there are many ways that you can hack a subscription or share it with your friends, with multiple number of friends. And my designation is to sit and see what are the IP is exposed, do a pen testing for each and every the subscriptions. That was my designation. And with this Minion, we started from the device itself, where the device itself will encrypt the data and the software, everything. If someone wanted to do something on the device, they can now able to get the data. The data have been encrypted and then sent to our cloud. And in the cloud, it's again like it's a more secure way of platform, and we are ensuring that. And though we have clients in Europe, so we also do in compliance with GDPR, and also in UAE, also in compliance with the certain data regulation policies, we ensure that. But okay, there are potential things that may be done, like for example, if I get to know the range of appliances of a particular user, I can tell I can categorize that the user is based on their socio-economic background. They are high class or mid class or low class, and that high class, mid class is again a potential threat. So which we totally avoid, and we don't put our nose into those.
Okay.
And the also another thing is like getting to know appliance level data is like, it also geographically I've seen it differs. For example, in Europe and US, if you see, even if there is no energy savings, people are like, I like to know each and every appliances, what is my appliances consuming. But in India, right now the behavior, the pattern is changing. People are like much interested, and many people are still not interested in what is their appliances is consuming, and they wanted to know. This is in residential sector.
Yeah, just I'll just reveal something that sometimes, and I think what you talked about, the fact that you will be able to look at certain appliances and show whether they are operating efficiently or not. And I think that's a very good thing, because I think in India, people do not realize that they are running a device that is actually so expensive that they are better off, disposing the device and buying a new, more efficient device and spending more, because the energy savings are so high. People don't even realize that. And it happens with especially with air conditioners and refrigerators, which people tend to try to say, oh, I've had this refrigerator for the last 15 years. What they don't realize is they're spending every year in energy, how much they would need to buy a new refrigerator.
Sure, absolutely. And there is another perspective of this energy signature which we are capturing. So far, like with Cisco, there is another strategic partnership where we are getting the modems, routers, networking devices, energy signature, and we are monitoring them continuously. And I can pinpoint to Cisco that at the 8th month or the 9th month of this particular variation of the Cisco devices is getting degraded. So that will impact your warranty claim. And so if you perform these things, so your devices which you are launching would be good. So imagine in over next 5 years, if I'm having a LG washing machine or LG such and so devices, and I have the pool of energy signature of that particular brand, I can always go back and sell, give it to this back to the manufacturer itself, where the manufacturer itself is missing those energy signatures and the insights on the devices which they are procuring. They are making.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Cool. Okay, thanks so much.
Okay, Indrajit Shaw from Genpact.
Hey, thanks, Anirudh. Hi, Gokul. Hi. I think it was a brilliant presentation, beyond the amazing product you're building. I was really amazed at the way you presented it. So I had a couple of questions. Okay, one was, you mentioned that you're focusing on the energy signature because you want to avoid sensors. My question was, since you're using machine learning algorithms, wouldn't it make sense to combine the energy, signature data with sensor data? Because then you can have a lot more granularity in your data analysis, in terms of, especially since you talked about, component level improvements. So don't you think that is one possibility? And the second piece was on more, macro question is, since you're creating something that has potential to connect with different, different players in the ecosystem, have you ever thought of looking at yourself as a more ecosystem player than just a technology company? Because in my mind, what you have created, and clearly this platform has shown the same, there are huge partnerships, that can accrue from the product that you've built. So have you thought of that deliberately, or is it still in the works? So those two.
Yeah, so sensor versus this energy signature, of course, sensor has the higher granularity or the accuracy of that particular data of that particular machine. And this machine learning algorithm, it will not give that accuracy at the first install itself. It will give accuracy at over a period of certain time. And if we discuss on this, there is another discussion on the business model. Whether are you ready to invest onto the capex of these sensors? If you walk into a hospital, there could be hundreds of appliances, and are you ready for installing sensors for each and every appliances? And also there is an installation cost where all the sensors will be routed and getting to the smart meters there. So this is a kind of a never-ending discussion, and so I started this like actually as from the sensor level. We did install sensors for each and every appliances, and we had to avoid, and we found this research going on, and we wanted to be a part of that. And of course, as I said, the sensors will be more accurate. And in fact, the energy signatures we have like hospitals, hotel, retail. For example, if there's a sugarcane industry comes, we do not have that sugarcane energy signatures or the machineries used in that energy signature. And we defaultly by choice, we go and end up installing sensors for each and every appliances. And we get the data trained and then we shift it to the machine learning. So this is, I think it answered your first question. And second thing is to be ecosystem player, it's more of like the resources and the branding of the company. Right now, I feel like let me stick to this right now as a business. And the more the data I have, then I have the more bandwidth and the resource that I can spread across.
Great. Thanks a lot for that.
Pranav Mitra from KTH University.
Hi, Google. Thank you for such a great presentation. I am doing a master's in KTH. It's in Sweden, in sustainability. So I just had a couple of questions for you based on this. So it's, I just want to know if the minions would actually calculate scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3 emissions in terms of energy. I mean, not just any emissions. If you are looking at energy management systems, so you would be probably looking at, there be a possibility to look at scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3 as well, probably in the future.
Sure, we can have a dialogue after this call maybe, and we can see what we can do.
Definitely, yeah.
Sure, sure, Pranav.
Thanks.
Sai Siddharth, JPAL Sai Siddharth, not the...
As opposed to the other Sai Siddharth.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that presentation. It's really cool that you're working on the energy efficiency space here. So for JPAL, there have been several researchers who work within the network who have done research on encouraging residential energy efficiency in the US and Mexico and a few other contexts. And some of the things that they've found is that invariably the amount of savings that people make falls short of the projections that like made by the utilities or whichever organization is working there. And a few of the reasons for that are, one, there's a rebound effect. So people save money and they think that they can use more devices because they're saving on all the devices they're already using. And the second reason is that there is some behavior change that needs to happen for them to like maximize the impact of the devices they're installing or the strategies that are being given to them. So my question is two things. One, how much of this effect do you see in the commercial establishments and buildings or industries that you're working with at this point? And the second one is, while this is true for some geographic context, specifically US and Mexico, what evidence I said, I'm wondering like how, when you see like across geographic areas that you work in, how this energy saving, like even in residential areas that you may have worked in, has like changed? Like, is there more energy savings in some areas as opposed to others?
Sure. Firstly, thank you, Siddharth, for this question. And great, if you could share me that research, I would be happy to go through that.
For sure.
And on your questions, number one, on these buildings, majority, like not majority, I can categorize like this: 45 to 50% of the clients are mandated to do from their higher authority or CSR or etc. And remaining another 60 to 55, somewhere that percentage are really interested in that energy efficiency because that's their personal problem, or not even the electricity bill has to be reduced.
Okay.
And secondly, on this geographically, we had kept, we are focused into three things. Number one is the hospitals, which is a low hanging fruit, and where that is our strength. We developed this minion for the hospital. And then we had branched out to other sectors where that is our strength, number one. Number two is the retails, where I can install a lot of minions. That means a lot of data I can able to capture, and that means I can look at a higher, of data licensing and selling, that kind of activities. And the third is the industries, where industries among the other the entire clients, 1% of my entire client is the just industry, because we haven't stepped into industries that much. But industries is the place where the percentage is, even if it is very small, that results in high number of savings in terms of currency. But in why didn't we go into industries? Is industry is another ocean of energy signatures, ocean of appliances. And right now at the rate, if you look at home electricity or appliances itself, is kind of a 4.2 billion appliances are coming. And if you think 4.2 billion energy signatures, and that is very direct. But in terms of the training activation instances, it goes beyond that. And that itself draws us like maybe a 2050 goal. I think I have given you, I hope you understood what I was trying to convey.
Yeah, it does make sense in terms of like the geographic areas and the types of industries that you're targeting. I think that's much more clear. Just for a little bit of context, it'll be cool to get in touch with you later on, and I'll reach out to you for this. We do have some interest from researchers to see how energy savings interventions, specifically in India, like how they do play out in the real world, and see how like what policy insights that you can draw from it that can be taken up. So
sure.
Yeah, it'll be cool to get in touch, and thank you so much for this presentation. And I'll share those, like, do research. I'll share it in the chat right now and share it with you later.
Sure, Siddharth.
To close this out and to stay on time, I want to end with asking you, Gokul, a question that Arjun usually asks all of our SUSTalk hosts, which is, what can Mafia do for you? Today we have 65 entrepreneurs in SUS Mafia. What can we collectively do for you to build that vision for 2030 that you laid out?
So I hope you heard about this Helen Keller saying, together we make the most of it. So I'm here for the partnerships, and it's not just me or it's not just Minion, it's always together. And it's a together of the Mafia members who goes to the particular client or the building to save the electricity costs. And this is, I remember when the first SUSTalk, the first sustainability group that happened in IIHS, I think. And I would have told this to Ganesh or people there, what if there is a building there, and with all other the solutions together, that we go and install it and have it as a consortium of solutions that can
bundle solutions, right? I think that's a great vision to end on. And we appreciate you for taking the time to do this, showing Mafia and friends of the Mafia who are on the call what Minion is doing. It's been a great presentation, and I hope some rich collaborations come out of this one talk. And to the rest of you, hopefully see you next Saturday. We have another interesting SUSTalk lined up regarding green financing. So it's a very, very different dimension, but that's what we do at the Mafia. We cover the spectrum of sustainable solutions. Enjoy your weekends, and thank you for being here.
Anirudh, David Eshkol here. May I take 10 seconds?
Yeah, sure. Everybody else, like, you can just leave the call if you're interested.
What Gokul mentioned and what you offered is really nice. As in, you said, how can we help all the 65 members or people in Mafia? So Gokul, the idea I'm throwing across to you is, if you are one and you are part of the 65, that means it is 1:64. Okay, that makes 65. And if all of us can help each other, either in a B2B or a B2C domain, 65 times 65, that makes 4,225 connections. So that makes a matrix. So everybody talks about each other's business. That means I talk about Gokul, and I talk about Jabir, I talk about Pranav, I talk about Faisal, what they are doing in their respective businesses or in their companies or profiles. So it is going to be a matrix of multiplication. So I leave this idea with Anirudh. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Thank
those
you,
words.
David.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
In business, it's
Thanks,
more of
Anirudh. Thanks,
a business wins. It's more about the word of mouth and the connects.
Yeah. But hopefully exponential scale on all your numbers. Even if you can do 25 million carbon each company times 60 companies, how amazing would that be?
High.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you all for being here and enjoy your weekends.